Morning world, welcome to a damp and dismal Monday. Dirty lucky bugger.
I do look at the comments though.
So yeah, it's Monday the 17th of August. Guys who just come in, I set them off on their day's duties of basically tree work and hedge work and bush trimming and stuff. My first job this morning is, I promised to give my neighbour a bit of topsoil last week and I forgot, so I better do it now. So as some of you will know, hidden under that blue sheet, there's a pile of topsoil that we got in and screened last year. The sheet is pretty much knackered now. It's not doing anything. In fact, there's weeds growing through it. So I have told the neighbour there is a bit of weed material in it, but they don't care. The fact that it's rakeable and they can move it about, they're only filling up a border. They're quite happy. So they've been buying topsoil from another local supplier for, I think they said it was £70 for a dumpy bag, which sounded quite a lot to me. So we're going to take Donald the dumper and the Mustang, fill the dumper up, tackle on the road. Whether or not you're going to come with me on the road because I've got nowhere to mount the camera, we'll see. But a couple of dumper loads just on the road. Morning, Donald. You may wonder why I call him Donald. It's usually because he's full of crap. That's a big weed. You don't want that. So we'll loink you out of there, and we'll loink you out of there. topsoil we had in last year, and we basically mixed it with some of our play sand. That's quite workable for someone's border. Right, I'm going to drop that off. Down, at least another one to go, but I'm going to have to let them level that first one out first, otherwise I'm spilling it everywhere. I might as well load it up now though, because if it piddles down and rain later on, I could put this in the bucket and stick it under cover. I'll keep it dry. I'll tuck this fella under the overhang of the barn for now. I don't think we're going to get any rain, but it's a bit misty, so you never know. Right, donkey's handbrake isn't brilliant, so I think that will have to more or less do when leaving gear. The handbrake on this thing is on the list of things to do. We got an engineer that comes out and does a lot of our servicing, and apparently he knows what he's doing with that thing. So I got a funny feeling the handbrake is in there somewhere. That's his job. Right, 9:15, breakfast. So apparently, and obviously, Andy's back on the digger. And I'm not sure if that's not our old chap in the field behind, because he's got a little noddy mobile like that, little Kubota. So I thought they'd already done this ditch, but maybe they're just having a tidy up. We'll go and have a look, see. That's definitely Farmer P Senior. I can't see if there's, I think there's two of them in there. I think Reg might be here as well. Biscuit, come here. Biscuit, come here. No, Reg is in the Manitou. So that must be Andy in the Kubota. come here. Come on. So apparently we've had poachers back out here again. They've been knocking down fences and cutting electric fences and driving through adjoining gates. So they've been through this gate here. So we're just blocking it up temporarily. Stop them driving out here.
Stopped the motor about half an hour ago.
Hey?
I stopped the motor about half an hour ago.
Yeah.
We started up. If we were in 2 hours, we're getting 24 now.
No. I was going to think if we put a trench down through here and match up with that corner.
Put the drain in that corner, look.
Yeah.
The pipe.
Well, we can pick him up. Need to track where he's going, really.
Eh?
Need to find out exactly where he's going, really. So we've got knocked out my seat now.
Yeah, here you go.
From that corner.
I see the green patch down there on the left hand side.
Yeah. So if I can pick him up just above there, and then perhaps put a couple down to where Andy is now on the digger, and diagonal off that way. Because the bottom left hand, right down the bottom there, I reckon if Reg puts his flat lift over all that, that's going to drain anyway, isn't it? So. Yeah, okie dokie. Right, I can walk from here. Come on, come here. Come here. I call it the noddy wagon. I'll say no more than that. So a couple of folks have asked about the corn, and apparently I haven't shown you any pictures of the heap in the barn. I thought I had, but just in case, I'm here. So I'll do it now. There it is. So there it is. That's our heap. Current temperature of the wheat from the probe that's right in the middle, 24.8. It was at 24.9 just now. I think the idea is we're putting the fans on at night when it's a bit cooler. We're trying to draw cold air in. The downside being that because we've had a lot of rain, we don't want to draw cold, damp air in. So the use of the fans has been kind of limited to when the, well, cooler and not chucking down with rain. The thing is, the air is still moist anyway. But this came in at almost 1% over what we wanted to on our moisture levels anyway, so we don't want to make it any wetter. So that's the heap. These are 20-foot bays. Those walls are 9 foot high, 9 foot something high. There has been various equations flying around to the quantity in here, but it's basically just under 2 meters tall, I think, the pile. If you averaged it across the whole thing, there's some dips and bumps and some high spots. So if you said it was 2 meters tall, so it's 3 times, yeah. I'm converting feet and meters and metric and going in between. 40 foot long, 6 foot high, 40 foot wide. So 40 by 40 by 6 is roughly the volume. So if you want to tell me how many tons I got in there. Okay, done that. What's that? Oh, that's how to program the, I'm not touching that. No one's actually told me how that works yet. So that's the realms of Reg, that is. He knows what he's doing with that. I'm not touching it, because I should get it wrong. Right, okay. I'll turn the lights off. Because once again, my old man's been there, and I thought it was bright in there when I went in there. I never looked up. But he'd left the lights on. Again. Okay. Right, Andy's on his way back up. He's now going to go back into the other piece and pull out the bund from that pond that you dug out earlier, so we can get in there later on with a mower plough. I think he's got, while he's here, he's got a little bit to do for the neighbour as well. So he's having an hour off of that from that. And I've just been told that if I've got time, I'm doing the ditching or the digging out for the land drain, depending on what bucket they got. I think the bucket they got is too big. So I don't want an 18-inch bucket for putting the land drain in. Come on. It is a bit warm, isn't it? What is it out there? It is 21 degrees Celsius out there, so not red hot. I mean, 10 degrees what it was below what it was last week. Thank God, because that was horrible. So yeah, nice to see Andy. We've just been over to Winterbourne and Frampton Cotterell to look at some tree work, because the phone over the weekend went mad. I think I got 12 jobs to look at today and tomorrow, which is just as well, because while it's damp, I can't cut my silage. There's nothing to do in the barns as such. All my little jobs at home are done, so while I'm not doing the farm stuff, I can catch up on the tree work. But as I was coming back this way anyway, I thought I'd call in and see Andy, make sure he knows what he's doing, which he does, and to be informed that apparently I'm doing the trenching for the piece of land drain that's got to go in. This is a piece of drain that my father put in when he first came here. Well, he put it in or someone put it in. I don't know the exact run of the pipe. We're pretty convinced that one of the big wet patches out there is because the pipe is collapsed. There's no point in me trying to retrace the track of that pipe, because as far as I'm concerned, there's a better, oh God, loads of horses, there's a better route. Excuse me a second, I'll let them go past. You're welcome. Bit warm for that, isn't it? Yeah, it's muggy, isn't it? I don't like it. Yes. I almost got a smile out of one of them then. Almost. So yeah, hopefully 100 metres of 4-inch land drain will do that. We know that Reg wants to put the flat lift, his little subsoiling soil thingy preparation machine that he kind of built it, I think. He wants to put that over it, and so the pipes have got to be below 18 inches because he'll just rip them out otherwise. So in fact they could probably do with being below 2 feet. I just got to work out where my levels are between the ditch I'm going to and the depth of the pipe. Because according to my father, the existing pipe is only about 18 inches down. So we'll have to make sure Reg knows that. Because it's pointless me renewing the bottom half of the pipe if Reg is going to rip the top half out. So, all exciting stuff. Anyway, it is 20 past 1 in the afternoon. I've finished my few jobs for this morning. Off home now for my lunch. And Emma's just rung me to let me know that her fridge is packed up and that apparently I've got dad duties to do this afternoon. I've got to go with her to collect a new fridge freezer. So when I say I've got a dozen jobs to look at today, I reckon I'll get the 4, maybe 5 of them. Who'd have kids? Hey, Biscuit? You're a lot less trouble most of the time. You missed that. That was 2 very nice, very smiley young ladies on their horses. They looked almost pleased to see me. Almost. Morning world, welcome to Tuesday the 18th of August, and it's not raining. It's another day of bombing around the countryside for me again today. Still too wet to even think about cutting hay, silage, haylage, anything like that. Pretty much all my prep work at home is ready for that event when it actually comes up and the weather window appears. Right, well, we've been to Thornbury to look at a few bits and bobs over there. Called to see my parents. Unfortunately, I missed my dad because he'd gone food shopping or something. So I sat and had a cup of coffee with Mother's carer for half an hour. Basically catch up on news from Mother and how Dad's getting on with the pup. Apparently they're like peas in the pod half the time. But apparently the pup has got a new trick. And this game, or trick, whatever you want to call it, is called steal my mother's clean underwear out of the wash basket and hide it under the sideboard in the living room. So apparently this is such a good game because you get with the reaction she gets from it that they now have to keep the wash basket up on top, I presume, so the pup can't get hold of Mother's knickers to hide them under the sideboard. The pup's name still apparently has not been decided on, but I think with the behaviour she's displaying at the moment, I think we should call it Tyke because she's a little tyke. My dog is still rather aloof, not very fond of the pup and kind of not quite there yet. I think partially because every time we walk in the door, my dog goes straight to the pup's bed, looks at the bed and looks to me and goes, "That's my bed out of the van. What's she doing with my bed?" So I think there's a bit of jealousy and a bit of whatever going on, but right now Biscuit has a new bed. I say new, it's an old bed that lives in our lounge that the dogs can lie on if they want to. It wasn't never that popular in the lounge. They've got 2 other in there that they're more fond of, so Mrs. P said to me, "Do you know what, take the tartan bed, put it in your van and maybe she'd be happy on there." So far so good. Anyway, so we are now on our way to Stroud, which at the moment is my longest distance tree to look at a great big willow tree that I got a funny feeling we've worked on before, maybe 20 odd years ago. I'm not certain about that, but from the description and the address, I recognise the address. Never had to bother with the sat nav because I just know where it is. Strange how some things 20 years old will just ping in there and you just know where it is. But it'd be interesting to know if it's the same tree, because as I remember there was a couple. We lifted one over the car park, which I think belongs to the council, and we did a bit of pruning to the private one behind. So I think it's the private one behind that we're going to look at today. So, don't know what we're doing yet. Find out when we get there. Right, that'll be an interesting job for the lads. We'll have to get the electricity board involved with that one because there is uninsulated and insulated 240 volt cables going through the tree. So I recommended the customer actually to contact Western Power and see if they will actually take the head off that's over the cables, and providing they take it back far enough, we should be able to complete the rest without a further shutdown, which would be nice for everybody else who's relying on the power. I think I might go, if I can, right actually. So that's one down, one to go, hopefully before lunchtime. We'll see where we get. Right, well, I've just called the next visit customer and there's no answer. So I can only assume no one's at home. That means we've got 20 minutes to kill, Biscuit. What do you reckon? Yes, you know where we are, don't you? And you know what it means, don't you? Only a quick one though. Welcome to Selsley Common. Great place to take a 20-minute break with the pooch. Come on. She can catch up with all the latest doggy news, all the sniffs. Come on then. We're going to catch a view in a minute. Come on. That's what we call Strayed Valleys and the Barclay Vale. We usually stop and sit on this bench for a couple of minutes. It's literally, I wander over here. I'll do it whenever I can. It's only 10-15 minutes. Wander over here and then back to the car. And it'll be back home for lunch then. We could just see in the far off distance Barclay Power Station. Just peep around the corner there. Further on down would be Albury Power Station. But they are both now shut down and decommissioned. Over there is the old Milk Marketing Board building. I think it's Muller now. So that's the local dairy processing plant. Where you get your yogurts and your ingredients for your chocolates and everything else. But that's where all our milk goes for pasteurisation and processing. Drafty, but it's warm. Pretty clouds. Come on. Spooky. But then, I don't come in here very often. Obviously, I've already been in once because that didn't get there by itself. And I'm covered in cobwebs. Right, I've got an hour or so to kill before my next appointment. So what I thought I'd do next was sort out a little problem we've got in the little paddock behind. We've got a mole issue. Although moles do quite a lot of good for the ground, get rid of a lot of pest species of bugs and that in the ground, and drainage and mixing soil and that sort of stuff, they also are a blooming pain in the bum because they don't do my cylinder mower any good at all. So I've got a mole to catch. So I thought I'd come in here because I know this is where my traps are. So now these, I believe, well, these are ancient mole traps. I'm not sure if they're still going to work, but I might try them just in case. I do have a new version as well, but it's just a bit too new. And if you put a brand new mole trap out, 9 times out of 10 you won't catch a mole because it's got a very sensitive nose. I did wonder whether or not to use this fella. Ever seen a mole trap like that? This is a wicked nasty thing. Basically it's a spring-loaded spiky skewer the mole trap. No, I'm not going to use that. That's kind of an antique, hang it on the wall for people to go, what on earth is that type of thing. But that's what that is. It's actually an old-fashioned mole trap. But that can go back on the wall there for the time being. So I think today we'll stick with the normal mole trap. We've got a couple of other traps around here as well. The old K squirrel traps. Got a few of those. We haven't got many squirrels around, so we don't use those. That's a clever little thing that is. And we have a plethora of old gin traps. Gin traps are outlawed. It is absolutely illegal to use these things because they are cruel. It's not illegal to own one, but it's definitely illegal to use one. So these chaps are from bygones past. I think if anything ever happens to those, it'll probably be a case of they'll go on a display or something like that. I did once think about welding the jaws shut, but then what's the point? I'm never going to open them. There's no point in welding something shut if I've never got any intention of opening it. So yeah, what's that? Oh, that's a scythe. There's all sorts of old treasures. If you go back, there's a video goes back a year or so of some of the farm's treasures. That's me. If you go through the cobwebs, that is me foot clipping shears out there. I've only ever used them once. Nowadays, foot clipping is kind of done with an angle grinder. So, yeah, this is our little shed of treasures, scrap engines and bits of stuff, and I think it's more rabbits than anything else in here right now. Right. Oh, my old Willens T20. This is my original climbing harness that I don't think would pass Lola now, but I never threw it away. Again, I'm never going to use it, but it's not taking up any space in here, is it? So, right then. Okay, so we will take you, and we'll have you guys as well. We've got some preparation to do first. Right, I had a look for my pincer trap as well, because I got a set of jaw traps for moles. Can't find them. I got a funny feeling actually I've lent them to a friend over in North Nibley, and I just never gone back, so I'm not going to rub out too much because I've got plenty of other ones. So my mole, although he's not making mengs, is out here in this grass. See this slightly greener area? That's where he's been lifting the ground up. You can see where he's been coming all through here. This is his run. So what I need to do is catch him. Now the easiest way of doing this, or the best long-term way of doing this, yeah, someone's had a go at digging him out. I wonder. No, that's rabbit. One of the best ways of doing this is, especially when you've got traps that haven't been used for a while or whatever else, is to actually, didn't expect to find that, is to actually bury the traps, dig up some of the dirt, stick them in a bucket, et voila, and bury your traps in the soil. Basically let them take the scent of the soil. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do that today, although I am actually filling a bucket out. This is just for a description. So if you bury your trap in your mole's spoil, in the mole oil, it becomes desensitized to scent. So his nose is far better than mine. But anyway, today we're just going to stick a couple of traps in the ground and see if we can catch him. So I think we'll go for more or less, the run seems to go from up there down here. So if we stick a couple of traps somewhere around the middle, hopefully we will catch him. Choose your spot. Okay, so we're going to have a go at this chap just here. Let's aim you up a little bit. So I need to set my trap. Carefully. Remember, these things will happily take your fingers off. Right, so there's the trap set. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to put these loops here down in the tunnel, and when he pushes his nose against that fella there, pushes it forward, because he's very strong, that will basically breaks him. Okay. So I have seen traps with two moles in before. We've actually had a mole caught on both ends. Not common, but maybe in breeding season. So get your knife, find your run. I know it's in there. I know it runs that way. Try and cut out a neat slot. And also, this soil has got not just Mr. Ball on it, it's also got a bit of rabbit turd as well. So, where's my run? There he is. So he goes that way to that way. So my slot isn't quite right. So the run is going that way. Right, he hasn't been down here for a bit because there's a worm in there. Right, okie dokie. So Mr. Trap can go in there like so. Next job is to cover him back over. I think I'm just going to put the one trap in today. See how we get on. Over there. Over there. And then another good trick is to put a bucket over the top. One, it marks the spot, and two, takes out any daylight, because moles will shy away from the daylight. Okay, well, if he's in there, I know exactly where the trap is because the bucket marks the spot. Yeah, I'll just stick with the one new trap from Rick. I'm not sure if I trust my fingers with those. I like my fingers where they are, but we'll hang them up over here just in case. Right, we'll come back later today or maybe tomorrow, see if we got him.